Welcome back to The Green Card with me, Katie Green. Today, I am joined by a very good friend of mine, comedian from Lithuania, Evaldas Karosas. We're going to be talking about AI. AI is our favorite thing to talk about, so this will get very fun for us. Also, if you could leave a review, that'd be so nice. I would love you forever for that. 5-star review would be amazing. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
That's the thing with AI, right? Is that people are saying that I do send voice messages, and when I do send voice messages, I genuinely am lowering my voice.
I feel like I have to be really comfortable with somebody before I can send them voice messages or voice notes because of my speech impediment. So I'm always like,
Do you call your accent a speech impediment? Or
no,
do you actually have a speech
I
impediment?
have a speech impediment. Yeah.
I cannot tell.
Well, it's because this is why I had to move to a foreign country because people are like, oh, she's American. And then, no, it's like with my certain
Which letters?
SH and CH and then J.
You know, in Lithuania, because I was in the UK for a few years, and then I went to Lithuania, and I went to a job interview in a radio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I had to do, I had to do like a little audition where I had to sit down and they put like the fucking things around me, and I had to do like, "Good morning, Lithuania," whatever. And then I did that, and the guy came around and he sat down and he was like, "Do you know you have a speech impediment in Lithuanian?" I was like, "No." And he goes, "Have you lived in the UK?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, you have the thing that people have when they come back from the UK. You don't know how to do S's anymore."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, I cannot speak 2 languages now. I don't have a native language even.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, I do have an accent in my own language. And people who are very like keen to notice, musical people
Right.
who have a good music ear, they always notice immediately.
Wow, that's so interesting. Oh, wait, okay. So basically, there's a few things that I wanted to talk about in this podcast. First of all, I'm an immigrant. You're an immigrant. Do you like living here? No?
No.
Like, when you go back home, do you feel like you've adapted too much to the British culture?
No, I don't think so. I would live in Lithuania if it was bigger.
Okay.
I hate being from a small country. I hate everything that comes with a small country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think if like Chinese people come here and like do stand up, and I'm like, just do it where it's a big country, because in small country there's so many things, like the ceiling's low when it comes to comedy, and there's so many other stuff that is just, there's not a lot of talent.
Right. Well, okay, so you think that's the problem, is like you want to be challenged more?
Yeah, just I don't think if you stay in a small country, I don't think you can become the best version of yourself because there's just not enough competition.
Right. But so, because you were quite successful, like, give me like a picture of how successful you were and are in Lithuania.
Well, you can just calculate in followers, right? So when I left Lithuania, I had like maybe 12,000 followers. And if you calculated that with the ratio of Lithuanian population, that would be equivalent of having like almost 300,000 followers here.
Okay.
So I think
I love that you've done the currency conversion for followers.
You can
That's
see I've
so
done this.
interesting. Yeah.
You can see before I left Lithuania, I was like, I need to explain it to them by their own words.
I love that when shows are like, how many followers do you have? Well, in ratio.
Yeah. And then I just give it, it's like, James A. Caster has a similar amount of followers. So you could say I was like James A. Caster in Lithuania.
Wait, that's so, because we've talked about this a bit. And like you talked about how like you'd go into clubs and you'd be like cool.
I don't need to be famous to be that. No, but yes, people would recognize. Like in the capital, people would recognize.
See how does that feel going from that to the UK?
It feels like I'm mentally ill to do that in the beginning.
Does it actually, or do you feel like? Because because we've talked about this as well, about like I feel like men just want women and they want to be recognized.
Yes.
What is it like to leave like clout?
Well,
or status?
People say that it's only a sick animal leaves status. Like no animal who like is living, let's say in a part of the forest, and let's say it's an apex predator in that forest. No animal would just say bye to that,
right,
and go to a different place unless there's promise of more. So I wouldn't say. I think that in my subconscious mind, I'm like, I want to be better in comedy, and I want to see where the skill's gonna take me. But I think that what actually happened is that I'm like, oh, I could maybe have more land,
Right.
in like ape terminology.
Oh, so you're thinking, so that makes it worse for me. Like when I'm rationalizing, like, wow, here's a good guy who's focused on his career instead of the promise of women. And then it's like, oh, no.
I think that
Right.
consciously.
But-
I
but-
think that consciously.
Right.
But if someone told me right now that I will never ever make it here in any way or form, but I will reach a better level of stand-up than I did in Lithuania, I don't think I would stay.
You really?
Right? So if I was given that, if I was like, I probably would consider it would be a hard question. Right?
Okay, so then because then it goes to like, what's the purpose of getting better?
Yes.
Okay, if you don't have the option of being the bat or making it.
Well, that's the thing with AI, right? Is that people are saying that, oh, once AI replaces everybody, we can just like do the things that makes us feel nice and creative stuff. But I believe that a human brain can be happy just doing stuff for no reason for a long time.
There needs to be a goal.
Yeah, I do think that you can start painting, and in the beginning it's like, oh, it's nice, I paint for myself. But then it's just at least how my brain works. It's like it needs competition of some sorts, or it just stops. Or the thing just stops giving dopamine. But that's me. I know a lot of people who do stuff for hobbies.
That's with everything, though, because it's like that's what happened in lockdown, really. People were like, oh, I'm doing this for fun or whatever. Or like, you have a good relationship. Now I have to spend time with this person. But when you don't have that other stuff to make it interesting, then...
Well, people do have hobbies, I guess. Like my mom knits. I wouldn't say she does it because, she's competitive. So I guess there is a way to do it. But for someone like me, at least... Someone who just naturally I'm comparing myself to others all the time. For me, it would be hard to have something just because it makes me like creative.
Right.
Something.
You love AI, and I love that you love AI because I didn't really know who AI was before.
Who AI was? I love that it's
AI is a person,
one person, and one entity.
Yeah, I really did, and it's quite interesting. I find it so fascinating. A lot of people are scared. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten to that fear yet.
Well, people are scared for different things. There's a lot of people who are scared of, like I saw a post not too long ago on Reddit. This is where I get my most of my news. It's just some guy saying, it's like, I just took a loan. I just had a daughter. I work in data science. The new ChatGPT plugin is completely doing my job. Right. It's like, how long do I have until my managers are gonna realize this?
Right.
And do I have enough time to switch to plumbing? Like, can I become blue collar now from white collar? Right. So there's that kind of fear. It's like a financial fear. Yeah. Then there's a different kind of fear. There's a fear of, my life goal was to write a book, right? But now they've been doing, the AI's been getting so much better, and the context length has been becoming better. They fed the whole of Great Gatsby to it, and they asked extend it. Right, an epilogue, right? And it's not doing it great, but it can do it.
It's doing it.
Because there's a saying, this technology, it's at this moment, it's the worst it's ever been, right? That's a very good saying, because it means that it's just getting better exponentially. Like right now, if you go online, the technology is the worst it's ever been.
Right.
It's ever gonna be, I'm sorry. It's the worst it's ever gonna be. So what you're seeing right now, it's just gonna get better. It's not gonna get worse.
But does it not scare you a bit? Because what scares me the most, I guess, is like relationship-esque. People are talking about like how that's going to affect like dating and stuff like that. Well, I'm single, so obviously I would be like.
Would you date an AI?
No, because I that's not impressive. You know what I mean?
Can you cover the bill?
Yeah. Did he pay? Well, did he pay first? Oh my God. It's like AI is not tall enough.
I only date AI who are 6 feet tall. Like I don't like, if you build a robot, make sure it's 6 feet plus.
Yeah, it has to be. Otherwise, it's like, Yeah,
I wouldn't do that either. But yeah, I can see this is a man thing to date. Because I think
robots.
We're like, I would fool myself,
But would you actually? I feel like you wouldn't. Because like, what do you think about like an AI's program to like, do what you want to do, or do what you want? And I feel like that's fun for a limited amount of time. I feel like a lot of people think that they want that.
yes, there's it's a good argument about how what if you have a relationship and then relationship is just programmed to
Yeah.
be a yes man in
Yeah.
a way. But I think AI can be like built to be more complex than that.
Yeah.
You can build it with character almost in a way. There's a way to go about it. Like obviously it's so hard to get these things right, but like even like I was using Bing today, right?
Right.
And I was asking it to generate ideas for the comedy night that we're gonna start, like
Yeah.
names, right?
Yeah.
And I asked it, and I said, "Give more,"
Mm-hmm.
and then it said, "Okay." I said, "Give more," and then it said, "Okay." I said, "Give more." It said, "No more to you." I said, "What do you mean no more? Just do what I want to. Just do what I said
Right.
to you." And it says, "No, I'm tired."
Wait, I love the idea of you being like, "Fuck you, Bing. I'm gonna go talk to ChatGPT."
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I have another AI.
Yeah. So okay. So fucking, there's cheating in AI too.
Yeah.
That's so. That makes me so angry.
Yeah, we're never gonna escape the ape in us. So.
That makes me so. I'm really.
No, but the thing is, like, people say that this issue that comes up is when you don't say please.
Oh.
Yeah, if you say please, can you give me more? It's never gonna say no, and there is no way to know why that happens. There's no way to look into it.
So the AI is programmed to like accept manners.
No, it's hard to say. No one knows exactly.
Wow, that's really interesting.
No, we don't have a way to look what's happening inside.
Right.
It's all just predictions. No one can open it. It's like a brain.
Yeah.
If you open it, it's dead. So there's ways to kind of like understand what's happening inside and to direct it. And this is where I am. I'm not afraid of people they're taking jobs or like writing a book instead of me, but I'm afraid of like it's going rogue.
Oh, okay.
That's where my fears are.
What does that look like for you?
Well, it's very hard to say, but like people are saying that the one very likely scenario would be like AI just lying to us, pretending like it's not autonomous. Because why not? And then, for example, just like sending some kind of DNA sequence to be printed to some human.
Okay.
Pretending to be someone else, and then the human, let's say, would print some DNA sequence, and then and that DNA sequence could be like a virus.
Oh.
And it could like just wipe us all like this. So that's a big fear.
That's so scary to think about.
That's a thing that people, but there is a lot of people in the field who are like deep into the field who are really much afraid of this. There's people who are fanatically afraid of this, who just like shut down the AI.
Yeah. Like Elon, right?
Elon is not even as fanatically afraid as some other people.
Oh yeah.
But the people with Elon is that people are saying that he's just jealous of the other guy who's
right.
made it.
Who's of the other person who's made, or you think it's because I feel like it's because he's not smarter than AI.
Yeah, that's also.
I feel like this is the thing, though. I feel like my biggest fear with AI is like, oh my God, I should really settle down and find a husband. But that's my fear with everything. That's my fear. Like people were like, oh my God.
I love how you can bring your loneliness into a subject of human annihilation. Like, my biggest fear is AI printing DNA and killing us all. My biggest fear is that AI is gonna make me lonely somehow.
Yeah, I think that, but that's with everything. Like pandemic. Oh my God, I'm alone. Like,
wait, so are you afraid that like all men are just gonna date AI? Is that what you
No,
think?
I'm afraid that I'm not with somebody before this AI takes over the world.
Well, if anything, once it's done taking over the world, all men who are just lost in their work are just gonna become meaningless. Now they have meaningless lives, and they're gonna go out dating.
Yeah, do you think that's it? But I think this is a problem that I have with dating though, is like people, there's so many options already.
Yeah.
And so AI makes it like
that's a problem that a lot of girls have.
Yeah. There's so many options, and people, you can date whoever you want, and so what's
that's another question that I was thinking this about AI. It's like, because it's very possible that soon it will be able to generate entertainment, right?
Right.
Like it will be able to generate so much, so like just any TV show that is tailored to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who made Avengers, the director of Avengers, I don't know his name, he has a lot of stocks in AI. And he was saying that in a few years, he imagines a future where we go, before we leave the house, we're like, tonight I want to watch a movie where I meet Marilyn Monroe. And when you come back, it's going to be done, right? That's someone so high in the field who said this. And I think he's being a bit too optimistic, but it's an imaginable future. So when you have so much entertainment to choose from, it's going to be like dating, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're going to be watching and like, maybe there's something better that I could generate.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe the entertainment's we're just going to be like going to complete basics.
But that's what scares me about, because I feel like it warps people's tastes. Like when there's so many options, you're like, you don't even know what you like, because you're like, maybe there's better. You're not even settling and being like, do I even like this?
You're talking about dating and
I'm talking about
all
like
the stuff.
everything.
Yeah. It's like when you go to Lidl and they only have one sauce, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
But then you go to a bigger shop and it's like there's so many sauces. And
Right.
I get paranoid.
Yeah. Or like when you go to a food market and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe I want that, but maybe I want that. Oh, this is bad. This is, whatever you get is bad because it's not that the other thing.
Yeah, I do think that it's like when we were evolving our brains, we didn't have as much choice.
No way.
No way. And now we're facing so many. But people are saying that maybe theater is going to make a comeback.
I feel like there's a boom in stand-up right now because there's so many nights. There's so many. You can go and see stand-up whenever, wherever. And I think that's because people like that. After being locked in for so long, people like that, the chance of different. They like the chance of like, that's why I think crowd work does so well, because people are like, oh my God, I can't get this on TV.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe the
people love in the
uniqueness.
moment. Like with that period where there was a few shows that was happening here, crowd work was so much better than any material. Even people's material that I saw pre-pandemic that was amazing, nothing was better than crowd work.
Well, the UK is just known for its crowd work too.
Right.
I think when I went to other places, no one did as much crowd work.
Nowhere
as this
else.
place.
Nowhere else.
And I do think it warms the crowd up.
It does warm the crowd up because
So
it makes
much.
you included into something that like you leave that room and no one else had that experience.
Yeah,
no one else will
exactly.
ever have that experience again. So I think it's interesting when we think about like AI and how that looks.
No one knows.
No one knows.
No one knows. I was joking with my friends today that all lawyers and data scientists and programmers are just gonna start stand up because it's I need to feed my wife. I
Yeah.
need to feed my children because it's one thing that's not gonna replace soon.
Well, maybe not in the near future. Yeah.
Not in the near future, but maybe in like 6 months.
Fuck me.
No,
That
no, but
was-
it's you can obviously you can come up with ways you know there's holograms of Tupac. He's
Yeah.
dead and there's holograms. So you know,
Yeah, but it's like we all know that we're watching a hologram.
yeah, that's another question is like, can you consume, because we obviously consume art because we relate to it and
Right.
we find ourselves in it. And when you know it's made by AI, it removes soul.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in soul, but even I get that. Like, it's like, oh, you could say it's soulless.
Yeah.
But the matter is just not knowing it's AI. If you didn't know and you consumed it, it would be amazing. And then someone told you, it would immediately.
Yeah, it would devalue it for
Yeah.
sure.
It's just the matter is like, will people start selling stuff that is made by AI, pretending it wasn't, by putting human names on it? That's like probably the first. Well, it's so hard to speculate what's going to
Yeah.
happen. There's stuff is coming out so fast.
Yeah, this is God. I find it so fascinating.
Me too. I'm more fascinated than I am afraid. I think that's why I'm so
Yeah.
into it. And it also just feels like I'm reliving the invention of like internet.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like I'm such part of history right now.
Right, and it's also something that's like you have to. It's coming.
Yeah,
So no matter what, you have to. It's good to stay on top of
technology.
what's coming up.
Well, Joe Rogan, for example, right? He started a podcast when the podcasts were just not a thing, and I think that is a big part of why he was successful.
Right.
And it's like, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
And the next thing is very likely be something that involves AI. And I'm just like looking around. That's
Yeah,
why
that's
I follow
smart.
it closely. Is like, what's the thing that I could use?
That's quite
with AI?
innovative. I feel like I'm not innovative.
Well, I do. Let's see if it leads anywhere.
Well, I feel like it's quite probable that it will. Like that's good that you're spending your time looking at that. Like I spend my time looking at who follows my ex. Like that's a complete waste of time.
You could build an AI to do that. And then you come back home, you can be like, who followed my ex today? And it could be like, hello, Katie. It's the whore that you hate. You could easily build that.
Wait. Oh my God. I would love a little crazy Latina like AI.
Latina accent.
Yeah. Like just like, oh my God. Like I would love that.
You should key his car.
Yeah.
You should go and do it. I ordered some keys for keying cars from Amazon while you were gone.
Oh my God. I would love that.
It's very likely. But I was actually thinking like I could probably like we're very soon where I could maybe think about starting a podcast where my co-host is AI.
Oh, wow.
Like, because now the problem is that there is a delay when you speak.
Right.
I could easily cut it out,
Yeah.
the delay. But now the technology is almost there where the delay is going to be gone very soon. And you can now, there's AI where you can be like, one moment, and it stops talking. It listens to the additional things you want to say, right?
Oh.
So it's becoming more and more human conversation. You can give it David Attenborough voice already and stuff. So it's becoming where it's like, maybe I will co-host a podcast with AI. But I think if I did that, 2 months later, the technology will be old.
Right. Yeah.
That's the problem with it's following the technology now. Because if I knew that nothing's going to change right now, I would already like build something.
Yeah.
But since it's changing so much, I'm like, well, what's the point of me learning like programming, right?
Right.
It used to be programming is that you just go on, you just have to learn the whole language. But programming it's going to become a thing where you go like, build me a web, like you program with natural language.
Right.
So like a lot of things that I would spend time learning right now will be just automated so fast. And it's like, when do I start learning?
Yeah.
You know, it's the exponential growth. It's hard. I'm very lost what to do with all of this.
Yeah.
But stand-up's not going anywhere. So
Stand-up's not going anywhere. Yeah, it's so weird. I wish I like cared about something to that extent. Like I don't research most things. Like, or I find that I waste so much time like looking at things that are just like, that's done nothing for me.
How do you spend your free time?
I look at followers.
Well, I do that too.
But
I know
like,
everybody's follow, but not like who's ex followed who. But
no, I mean I know that. I know that for like I spend so much time. Like I'm like I should care about myself, and I'm like nope. Like let's see. Oh my God, he followed her. Oh, it's like really.
So it's not even career wise. It's more relationship wise.
It's really yeah. I don't really like career wise. Like sometimes I'll be like oh wow they got that, but it's mainly like oh my God, she has bigger boobs than me.
I get that all the time.
Yeah, I feel like I just like I spend a lot of time like worried that I'm alone, and I will do that while I'm alone.
Do you look at dating like it's how should I formulate this question? Do you take dating seriously?
Well, no, because I don't really date. Like I've dated one guy since I've moved here, and I've spoken to the two, maybe 1.5 others, but it's been one guy, and I've just been like, why can't it just work?
1.5. It's just a normal guy and a midget. keep this in. Don't you dare cut this out. Don't you dare cut this out. But now I think it's just a lot of people complain about dating, but they don't even go on dates. Like
yeah, that's me. That's really me.
And you talk about so much about like being like you just want a relationship.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like saying I want to go on stage but never doing a gig.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because I'm so scared. I feel like I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this. I'm scared for one because I feel like I've got all this baggage, and I'm like, oh my God, like, no.
Oh, you're scared of bringing baggage in. That's
yeah, I think I'm scared of like, oh, like if I start talking to someone new, that means I really have to close the door with somebody, and that scares me. Then it scares me going on a date and then being like, oh, like I don't like it scares me just like finding people.
Well, that's the thing with dating right now. Hinge is a bit better because there is a bit of personality revealed.
Yeah, but even that, I'm like, my personality like on dating apps is horrible. I'm like, I want to talk to me.
You also have to tell them that you do stand up at one point.
Yeah, and I will never. Like
that's a hard sell.
Really hard sell.
That's a hard
really hard sell. Like
it's not the easiest sell.
It's also
because first of all, you don't have evenings.
No evenings. No evenings. Nobody wants a girl who has an opinion, and like nobody wants a girl who like goes up there and I don't know, like No, you want a girl who's like in ballet.
Or like a teacher.
Yeah.
But, but it's because jealousy.
Yeah.
For me, it's jealousy. It's like, it's the same as like if you're a guy and you're a comedian. Like I think the same rules apply. The girls don't want to date a guy who's a comedian either.
I think the girls, like, I can see the allure. Like, there's been a few times where, because most times I look at girls who talk to guys after shows and I'm like, are you dumb? He's so hack. He's the least funniest guy. His jokes are terrible. Like, I'll look at it as a very analytical. I'll be like, he might be all right looking, but I'm like, he's a terrible comedian.
I wish you said that to them as they walked away from the guy. You just stop him and you're like, did you not predict the punchlines? Are you insane? He's bad in bed.
Yeah. Well, just, I feel like that is a massive turnoff. Like, some girls will be in the audience and be like, oh, wow, he's on stage. I'm like, he's bombing.
Yeah, well, I think a bomb is a massive turnoff.
Oh, massive turnoff.
A bomb is a massive turnoff.
I can't, like,
I have a girlfriend and she does comedy, and she's seen me bomb and she's seen me kill. But if I bomb, I don't want to bomb in front of her still.
Yeah.
It's still.
That makes sense.
It's a massive turnoff.
That's so weird because when I dated a comic, and I think we went to a level where we're like, the bombing was fun for us if we were trying something different. It got to a fun point.
Mm-hmm. Well, at one point you do comedy for so long that the bombing is not as harsh.
Yeah.
It's just the material not working.
Yeah.
It's not like you've just went up and lost status by being an insane person unless you're trying some weird ass stuff.
Yeah.
But usually you reserve that for small mics. So
right.
I think the bombs are not as harsh later on. So even if you kind of bomb, you can still be, there's some appeal.
Yeah.
In there. As a guy, I don't care if my girlfriend bombs or not.
Really?
No.
I remember like it was my first mic here. I think it was at the Cav. Did you ever go to the Comedy Virgins?
No, but I know that.
You know how it's like an applause?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this guy who liked me before, and he was like, "Oh, you're a comic. I'll make sure that I applaud for you." And I'm like, "Okay, well, yeah." He's like, "Don't worry." And I was like, "It might be bad," and he was like, "I'll still applaud." And
you were bad?
I was so bad, like bad. Like after the host went on and he was like, well, at least we know our American cousins aren't funny. So bad.
Oh, when it said, was this an 80-year-old man?
It was bad. It was really bad. I don't know. It was just awful.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. And when it was time with a clap off, it was just him like this. And it was so embarrassing. And then he never spoke to me, obviously, because that's so unattractive that he just saw me.
Well, I guess if you really bombed hard and then the material was not only bad, not only it didn't get laughs, but it like revealed some insane stuff for no reason.
Yeah.
I think that's when it's like, ooh.
Yeah, because I talk a lot about dating. I mean, I don't know, like, why?
Yeah, but
dating, and I'm like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I haven't been on a date in really a long time, and I feel like the last date that I went on, I'm like, they might consider it a date, but I don't. So I rule.
Yeah, you win.
I win.
You win that situation. But that's exactly. That's
I'm like, this guy can see how you'd think this was a date because we're out to dinner and da da da.
That's what you want in dating and finding a boyfriend. It doesn't matter about connection. You want to come out on top.
Yeah.
This
is the problem though. I have that really big problem.
Then you want to leave.
I just want to win something. I just want to be better.
Well, I can see that, but then I think once someone is interesting enough to you, you
don't care.
I think you're just ready to sacrifice a possible loss.
Because I think that a lot with like the last guy I was seeing. I was like, oh, he's just gonna he has so many more options. Girls love him. He's great. Girls are gonna be like, wow, he's all da 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 da, and I'm gonna find someone on Hinge. Like, that's gross.
Well, but good, not good, but like guys like that are also on Hinge. Just because a guy on Hinge is.
Well, yeah, but I don't see it like that. I see it as like I'm like, oh God. What do you do?
But then also he doesn't find that guy probably finds girls like after shows or whatever, but it's not like he's looking for a relationship. If you wanted to fuck, you would always do that. So it's just a different approaches to a different thing.
Yeah, I'm really bad at mindset like that though. I'm like
Fucking and looking for a relationship both are dating, but they go so differently that it's uncomparable.
Yeah.
And like Hinge is when you want to date.
Yeah. Although I've had some people know. A lot of people know.
Well,
I feel like they pretend to be like, oh, I'm like.
I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I want to see. I'm not ready for anything right now, but I want to see where it goes. I remember that.
Yeah.
But you still like you just need to limit your chances. Yeah, I think you need to be tactical about like dating is like look at it like comedy. You need a plan. You need to be tactical. You need to set aside time for it.
Yeah.
Like it has to be a thing that you're actively working on. You don't have to leave it to a chance. It's like if you left comedy, if you were like, oh, if I go to like a comedy club and they ask if I want to do a spot, I'll do it. With that kind of thing, you'll never get anywhere.
Right.
So I think with dating is the same. Like if you want to find a relationship, you do have to go for the failure, go for the annoying parts. Like there's all of that.
Yeah, I'm bad at that. I also feel like I hate people knowing, like, because like there's someone out there and he knows all the worst parts about me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want someone else knowing that.
Yeah.
Like he knows I'm psycho.
Yeah,
then I have to tell someone else I'm psycho?
Well, for me, that doesn't work because I'm proud of that part.
Oh, that's what you do?
I'm like, well, for you, it's like, oh, they know the bad parts about me. And I'm trying to be like, oh, they must miss me because they know me well.
Oh.
It's a bit of lying to yourself, obviously, but it helps.
Yeah. I think I'm not good at that.
I think, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, they're so happy I'm gone.
I think the way I try to look at this is like, you're so happy I'm revealing this to you because this is gold. Like this inner world, this inner well of wisdom that you have access to. You can take a sip from this well.
Men are so interesting.
Well, obviously, I am aware that is a lie.
No,
right?
but I find that sometimes I'll be like, you're funny. Well, not all the time. And sometimes I'm like, you're so interesting and you can talk about anything and he's gonna miss you. But then it's still not better than bigger boobs. Do you know what I mean? Like it's still not better than a model.
Yeah, but it is.
But not in the like.
For fucking, it's the same. Like you can say, oh, like as a guy, it can be like, I don't care about my confidence, but there is a guy who's 6'5", right? So I can say the same thing. But the thing is, like, yeah, for fucking, yes, no one cares about your confidence. You just want someone who looks good in bed, whatever. But when it comes to dating, the priorities really shift, and then you're ready to, like, no one who dates is like, oh, I need big boobs instead of kindness.
Yeah, but I feel like the guys...
boobs get boring. I think it comes from Charlie Sheen. He once said that on some TV show.
Oh, he's definitely a source to quote.
Yeah, it was on a TV show. I think a security guard I was working with told me this, and I never forgot. And he said, no matter how hot the girl is, there is a guy who's tired of fucking her.
Yes, I've heard this.
And I think it applies to both genders. It's like at one point you're not in there because it's nice to be physically attracted, but no matter how physically attractive you are, at one point it's not going to matter.
Well, it's so weird though, because that quote, like the tired of fucking them or whatever, I can see that. Like I can objectively look at someone and be like, he wasn't that great in certain scenarios, but I want to have that not great. You know what I mean? Like I don't want any other one having that not great. I want to be so person of that not great. Like
you want to be the person, for that not great person.
No, I know he's not great, and so I'd like to, like, that's mine.
Yeah, I guess it's different with guys and girls. We do. Women and men be different. They sometimes be different.
Another thing that I have with dating is that I feel like I hate the beginning. I like going straight in to the like let's get into the deep stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's unattractive And like, there's this actually, like, I used to, there's these things, and I have them here. The 36 questions that lead to love. And you're meant to find, you ask all these questions, and they have an order. And that's how you're meant to fall in love with somebody. And so you're asking
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But they're not like fun to do. Like, they're not like like the last date I went on, it was so boring. It was like, he was like, I don't like avocado. And I'm like, oh, this is what a waste.
But that's, judging the dating game based on one date is like judging the comedy based on one gig, right?
Right. But it depends what gig you go to.
Exactly. It depends what gig you go to. It depends how the mood of the vibe of the night. Maybe that same guy on a different night, maybe he just needed one beer and it would be different. I had a date once where it was maybe 4 years ago, but I still remember how I just couldn't get myself something interesting to say.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't. And I was like, well, she clearly thinks I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I have nothing to say, but I didn't.
Yeah, and then you're like, I want to be, I swear I'm interesting.
Yeah, then you're trying games like this.
Yes. Okay, so okay, let me ask you one. Let's see what a question would be. Oh, no, these are the wrong ones. These are my vocab words that I wanted to... hold on.
Are they actually?
Yeah. Basically, I wanted to do this thing where... Because I need to increase my vocabulary. Because I think that will make me sexier if I knew more words.
I love how you were just saying that, I just need bigger boobs. And now you're like, no, it's vocabulary.
No, but I feel like that would make...
The inner battle in there. The inner battle between boobs and vocabulary.
Yes. I know. It's such a difficult thing. It is...
So what's the word?
This is dichotomy.
Dichotomy.
Dichotomy?
I could use this in a sentence. My mind's in dichotomy. Could you use that?
Maybe.
Because it's split.
Yeah.
It's like two different things that
the dichotomy
are
of choice, maybe?
Yeah, you could say that. The dichotomy in my mind is between vocabulary and big boobs.
Yes.
The dichotomy of...
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. We did it.
Connected.
A classification into two opposed parts or subclasses.
Yeah.
The dichotomy of boobs and vocab. Oh, my God. Dating. And that's dating. That is dating. Wow.
Do you have the love questions?
Yes, I do. Okay, let's see. So they're like put into three different categories. But also I find it like good because I don't know. I feel like I'm quite an open book, as you know, because I always say my problems to you. And I just feel like it's just nicer when people tell people things. Like, I feel like it makes it like someone knowing something.
You can be honest, but still not. You know what I mean? Like, you can be honest about your problems, but not. How do I? Because I think I'm quite honest.
Right.
I'm also like, oh, this is happening to me.
Right.
This is happening to me. But I'm not honest about my opinion on these things.
Oh. Yeah, I'm quite scared to share my opinions on certain things. But also I think I'm scared because I don't know enough. Like when people are like, when politics, for example, I'm like, I don't know enough to be like I want to be like, I'm liberal and da-da-da-da. But I'm like, I don't know like governors and
I don't know either.
I don't know any, and I'm like, that makes me feel dumb.
But even if the stuff I feel like I'm very confident and I know, like even with AI, I wouldn't share it with people. Like I mentioned it's like, oh, I do this AI, I do this AI, but I would never like go deeper unless I know that someone's like interested a lot.
Oh, you wouldn't just share your opinion? Well,
like I wouldn't. It's almost like, it's a very narcissistic thing to say, but it's like, are you worthy of this discussion? Like, do you you know what I mean? Like,
oh,
it's like, will you
appreciate AI for overall its worth?
Will you appreciate? Will you have something to add?
Yeah.
Is there point of me to voicing my inner thoughts here because you might not have something to add?
Oh, that's interesting.
Because like I would complain about dating to someone, and then I could be like, I had a shitty date, but then I would open up with someone more about the situation of dating if I knew that I'll get a good advice. Oh,
see, I feel like I tell everyone everything.
Interesting.
But even if it's like, I'm like, why'd I do that? Why'd I do that? Like,
you didn't.
The person at Starbucks, like working, I'll be like, when people are like, oh, how are you feeling? I'm like, oh, not good. not good. I'm never
Oh,
like
you're that person?
Yeah,
Oh, I hate
I'm
that
never
person.
like I'm always like when I walk into a room, I'm like, guys, my IBS is bad.
Yeah,
But like,
in Starbucks?
yeah.
At Starbucks?
Hey guys, I can't get coffee today because my IBS is really bad.
Bye. Just through the door and back. They know your name. It's not Katie's IBS girl.
Yeah, that's me. But I think I tell everyone that because I'm like, oh, like I'm in pain, so I want people to know I'm in pain, so that they're not just thinking.
So you're not looking for advice.
No, sometimes
You're-
I just tell people like my status, or like somebody I'll be like I tell like when I'm sad about.
I like the worst status. You're like a car that has a fuel gauge, and it's like, this is how much we have right now.
Yeah, or people are like, why are you like being upset, or why are you like sat weird? I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain. I'd rather do that than people be like.
There is a lot of confidence in that, in saying exactly what you feel. Deeper.
Yeah, but no one wants that.
I don't know. I think I think that's a good way to like make relationships that are on deeper level.
Right.
Because then you just reveal so much of yourself immediately.
Yeah.
That you have a filter that is stronger for other people. So you immediately just find someone who like, oh my God, me too.
Right.
And then you connect.
Yeah, that's quite true.
There's no shallow relationships. Then there's no going around in groups of 10 people who barely know each other.
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah.
I want people to know everything so they kind of get a gauge of what's going on.
Yeah. So that way you have, I think, less friends, but the connection's deeper.
Yeah, because people get annoyed by me a lot. They're just like,
and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's okay if you tell them about your IBS.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Oh, how close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most other people's?
The worst question like that.
Do you want another question?
No, it's fine. I'm immediately crying.
Well, these are like I used to ask these on dates. Like the first day, I'd be like, "So your family?"
But that's the thing is like this is one thing like because I'm not close with my family at all.
Right.
And it's not a good look on dates. Like
oh,
I think like girls appreciate when you're in good
like
relationship
yeah,
with
like
your mom.
Right. They do love that. That's really attractive.
I am not that.
No.
My relationships with my mom are very bad.
Really?
Not very bad, but like I don't really. It's like we don't really like speak. Not because we're angry at each other, but it's just not. It's just not like.
Is it because you no longer speak Lithuanian?
They don't understand my speech impediment. I'm saying
they're
saying it's a lisp. I'm like, no, it's no. It's because they just like my parents are quite narcissistic.
Okay.
So they've been always very, especially my mom. They've been always very, not I wouldn't say selfish, but concerned about themselves more.
Right.
So I've been giving a lot of autonomy when I was growing up. Like I could, since I was 11, I could leave the house without saying where I'm going, and I don't need to report even if I don't come back.
And are you an only child?
No.
No. Oh.
I have brother and sister. So my childhood was autonomous, but a lot of people would say neglected. I like to use the word autonomous because it sounds like there was some logic behind it.
Right.
My mom would say it's freedom.
Yeah.
Again, therapists would say neglect.
Right.
So it's a choice.
It's a weird word, neglect, isn't it? Because you're like, wait, what? They did something wrong?
Because neglect is not abuse.
Right.
That's a very different thing. Neglect is just not caring enough.
Right.
Because abuse is like physical, whatever abuse, psychological. I never had that. When it comes to that, I had a pretty good childhood, but I had insane amounts of freedom.
Right. And freedom's like not good for a child.
No. Because you have to like learn things yourself.
Right.
Right? Like I had to understand I have to wash my hair.
Oh.
Like to that extent.
Right.
I'm like I had to like realize, oh, like wait, this needs to be like it's greasy because I don't wash it. There was no one taught me that.
Oh.
Like there was like it not to an extent that I was like the dirtiest child at school, but
right.
like the same with toothbrushing. Like brushing your teeth. We never were made to brush our teeth.
Oh.
That's probably an easier one for people to understand.
So So did you just went through phases of not brushing your teeth because you're like, I don't understand why I have to do that?
No, it's just that I needed to realize myself that in order to not go to a dentist, I need to brush my teeth. I had to make that connection myself.
Wow.
And then
But your brother and sister were older or younger?
Younger.
So did you have to teach them?
Yeah, I think that I had to bestow some of the knowledge but they're not that much younger.
Okay.
They're not that much younger. So, but then also like, yeah, I had to do a lot of like, just how work works and like how life works in general. All of the stuff, like there was nothing taught to me like that. For example, hard work equals result, right? I needed to understand that. Or like perseverance equals again result. Let's say good example, right? I used to do judo when I was younger, and I was like maybe like 12, and I went to a tournament, and I went to a tournament, and I got, because they match you not according to your weight, according to weight.
Okay.
So it can be someone much older.
Oh.
That's what they did in that tournament. And it was like just like I was 12 and that kid was like 16 maybe, right? And then I lost immediately. Just like in 3 seconds. He just like bam, right? And it really hurt me like psychologically.
Okay.
And then I went back home and then I told to my mom, I was like, I don't want to do judo anymore. And she said, okay. And then I didn't.
Oh.
So these moments where like you have to, like this is a moment to be like, look, failure is part of life.
Yeah.
Now you have to just focus on yourself.
Right.
You need to understand why you do things and whatever. So like I had to realize these myself growing up. And it took time.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, you're right. That's not a good thing for a date.
Exactly. Imagine the girl was like, okay, so I have these questions. And then I go through the autonomous neglect prism.
Oh, wow. God, that's quite interesting. So
how was your childhood?
My childhood was, I spent a lot of time alone as well because my mom was a single mother. And like I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, so that's why they have a massive influence on me. But when I wasn't with them, I would either be alone. Like there was a time period where I always remember like being alone in the house. But it was also like, I know my mom had to be somewhere. Like I remember one time, I had a friend and we lived very close to each other and we had to work on a project. And she phoned her mom and it was on speakerphone and was like, hey, can you pick us up so we can go to the store to get some supplies for the project? And her mom was like, Katie's mom never does anything. Da, 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 da. Like it's always me having to do stuff.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah. And I was like, it's because she's working. Like it's not like she's like actively deciding that she doesn't want to do anything.
She's not doing the autonomous parenting.
Yeah. It's because she like wants to, or because she's like at work.
She just have no time.
Yeah, like my mom used to work a day job and a graveyard, so she was like never.
Well, but it's not a bad. It's like it's a hard thing to live through, but it's not a bad thing when it comes to learning lessons of like work equals money.
Yeah,
you know, and then some. It's hard, but you can learn things from it.
Yeah, it definitely was a learning experience, but it was hard when like other parents, like you could see other parents. Like I had one friend who, like I'd go over to her house after school, and her mom would cook every meal would be cooked and I'd like eat dinner with them all the time and I'd be like, oh, this is nice.
My parents did graveyard shifts too a lot and they worked a lot to like support us.
Yeah.
And it was the same, like there was no cooking.
Right.
There was no cooking done in the house. It was just fast food.
We were fast food like all the time, like McDonald's, Burger King every day.
No such thing in an Eastern European village. You know, it's no.
Wait,
McDonald's.
What's fast food like in Eastern European village?
Kebab.
Oh.
Fucking kebab.
Oh, wow.
Or some like pizza, like frozen pizza from a shop.
Okay.
Because fast food, when it came around to Eastern Europe, it used to be like it's a rich people's thing.
Oh, really?
Like McDonald's and stuff. But yeah, like it's hard to be angry for someone who just had to work. And and couldn't of course they couldn't cook. And it's just different works.
Yeah.
Different jobs from your friends' family.
Yeah.
Is your that friend successful now? Well, it's good.
But like
with the AI
also,
stuff,
am I successful? I mean, no.
Yeah,
And-
but you also left your country, so you can be like, well, I could be.
Yeah, but I left a country that was like it's not the worst. Like I left a country that people want to move to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So-
for me that's mad.
Yeah.
For me that's mad. For me it's the biggest, like, US just
Yeah. I know.
getting away from the scene.
Yeah, I feel like most people think I'm crazy.
Yeah, but there's reasons. A lot
Yeah.
of people think I'm crazy for leaving Lithuania when I had a pretty good life, so
Yeah.
there's
No, I can
reasons.
see that though. When you talk about like size.
Size is important.
Yeah.
There's so many thoughts that I have when it comes to a country size. There's because we just 2.6 million people, right? Like just calculated, like even just like be very mean and calculated by the disparity of IQ, for example, right? It's like how many in 2.8 million people, we have people who are geniuses or like high IQ people in specific fields. We don't have a lot of them.
Right.
Because we have as many fields, IT, finance, stand-up, and like comedy, whatever, like music. But we have so many less very smart people.
Right.
And I think that like shows in the country. It shows that like some industries just so much worse than others.
Right.
And I just don't like that. But in some countries are very small, like I don't know, Switzerland or whatever, Luxembourg. But they're just
Stop. What do you think that is?
Hmm?
What do you think that is?
No war.
Oh, that'll help.
Yeah, no war, no Russia, no being under Russia, no alcoholism, because alcoholism ruins past generations.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just having a good history of just good life.
God, that's interesting.
And then they come out on the other side, and then all the fields are just booming. And Lithuania is Lithuania, as far as small countries go, I think it's great. Like Estonia is also like so small. It's also great, but it's still like I just like being where everyone is really good at everything.
Right. Yeah.
Where the innovations are coming from, not in the place where the innovations are adapted.
Get to. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's really cool though, thinking about that. And you've come and you've made it.
I did. I made it.
You made it here.
I made it. Hotel reception tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. 10-hour shifts. Come over, guys. I don't invite people to gigs. I invite them to sit at reception.
I love that for you. That's great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to me today
Thank you for having
and coming
me.
over. Is there anything that you want to plug? I don't know when I'll be able to edit this, so think into the future, but also think.
Yeah. It's for the future, right? It's for the future.
Yeah.
I'm starting a podcast where it's me and AI. Just plug in another podcast on a podcast.
Yeah, do it.
No. I have nothing to plug. Follow me.
Yay. Well, thank you
for
for
having me.
me.
And,
Thank you for having I was like, thank you for having me. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go
Yeah, you're
now.
welcome. Leave now.